the unthinkable obstruction. The rescue ambulance was heading back after a brutal triple shift. Inside, everyone was drained. Dr. Zola, a young field medic, struggled to stay alert. Suddenly, a massive golden-brown figure appeared directly in the middle of the road. The driver slammed the brakes, tires screaming against the heated asphalt. Standing tall and completely still, blocking the road, was a large male kangaroo. Its fur was soaked, clinging to its powerful frame, eyes dark and burning with urgency. This was not aggression. This was something else entirely. Before we move forward, pause for a moment. What would you do in this situation? Fear struck instantly, but what the kangaroo did next changed everything. Dr. Zola's training activated. Assess and contain. Yet nothing in his manuals prepared him for this. The kangaroo didn't charge. It didn't flee. It didn't show panic or hostility. Instead, it stepped forward slowly, deliberately. Then, in a moment that shattered logic, the powerful animal rose upright. Its forearms lifted and pressed together in a posture that looked unmistakably like a plea. The vulnerability of such a strong wild animal was overwhelming. Zola realized this wasn't a threat. It was communication. Desperation without sound. His partner shouted for him to stay back, but Zola's instincts, sharpened by years in the bush, cut through the fear. This kangaroo is in trouble, or something it cares about is. He grabbed his trauma kit, the weight of the moment pressing on his chest. The kangaroo dropped back down, never breaking eye contact, urgency radiating from its stance. It turned and hopped slowly off the road toward the dense shade of the acacia forest, then paused, looking back as if to confirm Zola would follow. It felt like an invitation and a command at once. Zola hesitated only a heartbeat. He opened the ambulance door and stepped onto the damp ground. The kangaroo waited, muscles tense beneath its skin, tail shifting once. When Zola nodded, it turned and moved deeper into the forest. Zola followed, boots crunching through dry leaves. The kangaroo led Zola only about 50 yards into the quiet thickness of the acacia forest. What they found silenced every rational thought. There, partially hidden among roots and tall grass, lay a man in a familiar khaki uniform. A senior ranger, completely motionless, his face pale, drenched in sweat. His name tag read, Red Kletchi, a legend in the reserve, a man known for relentless dedication. Zola rushed forward and dropped to his knees. The ranger's pulse was barely there. A severe cardiac episode, likely caused by prolonged strain and exhaustion. Kletchi was fading fast. Zola began CPR immediately and radioed the ambulance crew for a stretcher and advanced cardiac support. Throughout it all, the kangaroo stayed. It didn't retreat. It didn't interfere. It moved in tight, anxious circles, letting out low, strained sounds. Every time Zola paused, the kangaroo leaned closer to Kletchi, as if urging him to continue. This wasn't an animal guarding territory, it was guarding a friend. Minutes later, the medical team arrived, fear and awe etched across their faces as they approached under the watchful presence of the kangaroo. They carefully placed Kletchi onto the stretcher. Share this story if you believe animals feel loyalty and empathy. With Kletchi stabilized, the ambulance sped toward advanced medical care. But one question remained. Why would a wild kangaroo save a human? The siren wailed as the ambulance burst from the forest onto the open road. Beside it, the kangaroo ran. It kept pace with raw, desperate strength, a blur of motion driven by concern. It didn't stop until the ambulance reached the gates of a modern hospital. It watched as Kletchi was rushed inside. Then it waited. Outside the hospital gates, on a patch of green grass near scattered acacia trees, the kangaroo sat. Its body was exhausted, fur damp, chest rising heavily. Its eyes never left the glass windows. Hours passed. Staff watched in disbelief. This was a vigil, silent, powerful, Inside, Dr. Zola and the medical team worked non-stop. Machines hummed. Precision replaced chaos. Eventually, the vital signs stabilized. When Kletchi finally stirred, his first whispered words weren't about pain. "Is he still out there?" Zola wheeled him toward the hospital entrance. As the doors opened, the kangaroo immediately rose to its full height. Their eyes met through the steel gate. Recognition flooded Kletchi's face. Tears followed. Months earlier, Kletchi had found this same kangaroo trapped in a poacher's snare. He had cut it free, treated its wounds, and stayed with it for days until it could move again. Today, the debt was returned. Let us know in the comments how this changes your view of wild animals. This wasn't just a rescue, it was a lesson in connection. The kangaroo gently placed its forearm against the steel bars. Kletchi raised his trembling hand. A silent exchange. Gratitude without words. The vigil was complete. The kangaroo turned and walked away with calm purpose, disappearing back toward the forest and the freedom of the wild. Kletchi recovered fully, but everyone who witnessed this was changed. Compassion speaks without language. Loyalty transcends species. Kindness never goes forgotten. This isn't just a story, it's proof that empathy builds unbreakable bonds. And sometimes the greatest heroes don't wear uniforms. They stand on powerful legs, silent, patient, and unforgettable. If you want more stories where nature defies logic and saves lives, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter.